All right. Yeah, I mean, y'all saw the title of the room. I just can't do it anymore. Everybody's trying to play respectability politics on Clubhouse. And like Drake would say, I'm upset. So, long story long, I was in this Clubhouse room. Let me look at I don't even remember what the room was called. Because I took a screenshot, but I'm going to put it up there. What the hell was this room called? It was... Has ADOS adopted white supremacy against immigrants? So it has ADOS African American descendants of slaves adopted white supremacists. Talking points against immigrants, our ideals, whatever. And I'm like, okay, it's Saturday. There ain't that many rooms on Clubhouse open. Let me go listen. I even had my screenshot up already from JT of the City Girls just said, I'd rather not talk because when a motherfucker don't make sense, I get rude. I made that my profile pic on Clubhouse today because that is how I've been feeling. And that is the whole reason I made this video. I just don't get how, and I'm going to get into in this room in particular, and I had to get it out because I could not stay in the room and just listen to straight lies and defamation. So this was the gist of it. The room was called, obviously, has ADOS adopted white supremacy against immigrants. And two folks, I could only say, I mean, I had to be in there 30, 45 minutes. I just could not bear it. The room was started by non-African Americans. And they developed this, like, room, I guess, rules that you can't interrupt people, which I find very troubling because I've never been a person that can just sit and listen to lies and deception coming from these folks from the continent, African immigrants who are now in the United States and African immigrants who are in other parts of Europe, like, you know, Black Brits, as we would call them. And three of the points they made, I got to keep it. I couldn't sit and listen to it because it was just straight lies. Straight lies. So the points they were making was, one, that ADOS freedmen want Africans to be lower than us. So we, quote unquote, don't like Africans, and we differentiate between African Americans, Black Americans / Black Americans, and African immigrants, folks from the continent, because we want somebody to be lower than us. And we challenge immigration policy because we want somebody to be lower than us. That somebody being Africans. And I know it's a continent, but I put that, I got air quotes happening now. Damn, this was supposed to be a short video, but it looks like it might end up being longer than I expected. So I was like, we want somebody to be lower than us. And then another point these Africans were making was that the meaning of African Americans really, technically, can be attributed to anybody from the continent who moves to America. Because if you're African and you move to America, then you're African American. That was the point. Coming from somebody who has foreign flags in their bio. They said, because I'm African, and I came to America, I can be African American. That was the second point. Third point was that African Americans dislike Africans, ADOS, freemen, African Americans, whatever title you like. We dislike Africans just like they dislike us, and it's equal. One is not greater than the other. Africans dislike us as much as we dislike them. Now, if I know my audience and I know who I'm speaking to, y'all ADOS, you understand why I couldn't sit in the room and just let people talk to talk. When you're blatantly lying, it hurts my soul for moderators to just sit there and let you talk. Since when do we start letting dummies just get up on stage and talk? We don't do that. We hold up, wait a minute. I know we're an accepting people and we invite everybody into our community. We want to invite everybody to the cookout. Everybody can say nigga. But when did we just let dummies start talking? When did we start elevating dummies and then saying we can't interrupt them because they should have the time to make their point? No, dummies don't get to make points. So let me refute these points one by one. There are 3 points: that we want Africans to be lower than us, that the meaning of African American can be anybody from the continent, and that we dislike Africans. First of all, ADOS folks have fought since before this place was a country, before the United States was a country, to ensure that everybody gets a seat at the table. Specifically, I say that the Immigration and Nationality Act of 1965, that even allows most Africans and Asians to come here, would not exist if not for African Americans, Negro, color, whatever you want to call them at the time, fighting for civil rights for every damn body. So we ain't never disliked anybody. We always invited everybody into our detriment. Not only that, but I remember growing up, this is my anecdote, that African Americans in my community, black folks, went out of their way to promote positive images of Africa. We ain't never disliked y'all. We've never wanted y'all lower than us. I remember our Bibles were colored in kente cloth. We had the little hats. We had vests. All kente. Your folks through the 90s, 2000s, 80s was wearing the Africa medallions. Black is beautiful. Black power. Getting Africa tattoos. We ain't never disliked y'all. You're telling on yourself by saying that you dislike us. You really are telling on yourself. Telling us everything we need to know. We don't dislike y'all. Y'all dislike us. We have never sought, in the history of our place in this country, of being in this country, sought to limit immigration of Africans. Now, rightfully so, we see the detrimental impacts of the borders being wide open in America, instead importing talent rather than building its own talent. America doesn't want to do right by African Americans. That's screaming. And we see the issue with that. We see that we are a distinct ethnic group. And y'all pissed about it. But we ain't never disliked y'all. We've never wanted y'all to be lower than us. To the second point, African American has never meant a person who can directly tie their lineage to an African country. It has always meant, and what has been reserved for, the descendants of American chattel slavery, African Americans, our unique ethnic group. Whether the term was coined in the late 1800s or the 1980s, it has always been a term for us. And it is meant, and it is reserved for a group of people who cannot trace their lineage to one single country or one region in Africa, and who have a majority African blood and lineage. And that is what we are. ADOS in this country have between maybe 10 to 30%. I'll give it 10. I won't say 0. But I've heard upwards of 30% of non-African DNA, genetics, whether that be native or European for the most part. But we are still mostly African. And that's why we derive the term African Americans from that very idea. Dummy on Clubhouse was saying, why don't y'all call yourself European Americans or Native Americans if you want to say that you're mixed with those two? Because we're not mostly European or Native American. We're mostly African. No, you don't get to call yourself African American if your parents are both from Nigeria. If your parents are both from Jamaica. If you're Black Brits, you're not African American just because you moved here. You can't come over here and change the rules for everybody and say, no, African American means this. No, it doesn't. You don't get to come over here and tell us what our ethnic identifiers are. Sorry. Y'all can't even run your own damn countries. Why are you trying to come over here and run ours? You never will. Tell your people what they should call themselves, not us. You're not us. Lastly, I said this earlier, we don't want anybody to be lower than us. Well, let me rephrase that. We don't want Africans to be lower than us. We don't even know enough Africans to want Africans to be lower than us. Well, there's 30 plus African Americans here and maybe 8 to 10 million folks who are descended from Africans, from like African immigrants, you know, who can trace their lineage 1-2 generations back to the continent. There ain't enough of y'all here for us to be doing all it, to want y'all to be lower than us. Y'all ain't enough people. Plus, since before this company, people, you know, the more do be, y'all, some folks do be thinking America's a corporation. But before this country was founded, we've been fighting for the democratic ideas and ideals of the United States of America. Which means that nobody should be a bottom caste, that everybody gets to live the American dream. So for y'all to come over here, jump on Clubhouse, Africans, Black Brits, and Caribbeans, and say that y'all want us to be the bottom caste. Who have we ever wanted to be the bottom caste? Who have we not invited to the cookout, good or bad? When have we not fought an ever-American war, gone to Germany, liberated Jews, fought in the Civil War, liberated ourselves, ushered in this a multiple civil rights movement, invited everybody into this country that wouldn't exist without our labor? When have we ever said we want somebody to be lower than us? The truth is, everybody can get this smoke. Everybody who's stopping our reparations can get smoke. White tea or bright tea. Everybody can get it. So if you're not for us, you're against us. Are you telling us you're against us? Because that's the only reason we would want to wage war against you, is because you're against us. Are you against us? We've waged movement after movement for civil rights. But you want to sit on Clubhouse and say, we don't like Africans, or we want Africans to be a bottom caste. Or you going to come over here and tell us what our ethnicity is and who we are. Y'all better sit down somewhere. Why are we letting dummies like this, who shouldn't even be in a conversation, get on Clubhouse and just say it? Say that we don't like Africans. Yeah, we're starting not to like y'all because you sit up and say shit like that. Oh, no black elder who's ever said dislike Africans. They probably got African tattoo, got kente cloth. Look at these fools in Congress. Always wearing the kente shit. We have respect for the African continent, despite the African continent not having respect for us. We sure do send billions of dollars over there every year, gladly, because we care about our quote-unquote brothers and sisters over there. But anyhow, it's supposed to be like a 3-minute video. It's almost 15 minutes. But I had to get this out because it's not even about the specific content that these diaspora wars always bring about. It's about the fact of why are we letting, and you know what? The moderators were mostly African, so I get it. I get why we let dummies sit up there and say this stuff that is straight lies. Like, why do y'all lie so much? What do y'all got to gain? Scammers. Just scamming. You scamming and you lying all the time. Why? Continent is still in ruins and y'all have done all this scamming and cheating and lying. Sold slaves proudly. Oh, we didn't know what was happening. We didn't know the slave trade was so bad. Always lying, scamming, and cheating. Yeah, I say it. And we still didn't dislike y'all. But that's what I got. I had to get on here. I had to get it out. I'm back, y'all. I'll be doing more videos. Clubhouse Confessions. I might have a series, Clubhouse Confessions. Because I can't stay in these rooms. I have to, I have my points. I write them down. I'm, waiting patiently on stage. And then they get up there and start lying. And I can't do it. My soul hurts. I start to melt when I hear these, I don't do that. I don't willingly listen to people lie. And be like, oh yeah, good point. Now let me articulate, articulate why you're wrong. And they don't believe this. They are there to respond, not to actually listen. So I just press my leave quietly, and then I'm a jump on YouTube and say what I gotta say, and hopefully the right people hear it, because I can't do it. I can't elevate dumb. I can't do it. All right, but that's what I got. Bye.